Hey guys, I am Lana. This is from Corporate to Crystals. We're back for another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some experiences that I've had with religion, and I'm going to do a few in like a little mini series about this topic. But for now, let's start with like when I was little to now, from the perspective of a non-believer who was seeking. I think that is the key here. There's a lot of individuals who like are born in families and they already are like rooted with a foundation of a specific like religion that is passed on to them. That wasn't my experience. And also my parents were really open-minded to letting me explore. And so I'm going to kind of take you through that journey a little bit. So yeah, I've said before we didn't have much of a belief system. So I was baptized Christian. I went to Bible school. And when we did go to church, we would go to Christian church, but I never felt like rooted to it. So I was able to kind of explore and just like learn. And so as I was like a young girl, I had neighbors who were Mormon, and they always like welcomed me into their home with open arms, and like they felt very devoted to their belief system. And I could feel that their house was like, it operated differently than mine, but it felt fun. It felt positive. I felt very welcome there, and everyone was so kind and sweet that it almost was like cool, you know? And then I kept going, and I had a really close friend of mine whose family was like a second family to mine at times. And they were Catholic, and kind of the same thing. Like they involved me every time I was over there. I was like involved in their prayers and um, their practices, and they would answer questions of mine. And I remember any time that they invited me to come with them to holiday mass at this like gorgeous cathedral, I would go, and I thought it was super cool, and I always felt like excited, and I felt like I was learning something. Um, and my parents were always cool with me like checking everything out. They didn't care. So I was very curious, and I was like very excited. So I learned about Catholicism through them and a few other friends actually who were Catholic. Onward I go. My stepfather, we lived with him, and he was Jewish and very open-minded as well. So we celebrated the Christian holidays. He celebrated his Jewish holidays, so we celebrated all of them together. And I always thought that was really cool because we got to like have all these like this cool exposure to Jewish holidays from a Jewish man who like he was like an active he actively practiced. And so we would go to temple with him on occasion, and then these Jewish weddings and things of that sort. And I always was like, wow, I was excited. Like it was very cool to learn all of this stuff. And so then I kind of am like headed off to college. And I remember picking my classes, and I was like, I'm gonna find my religion. So I'm gonna like pick electives that are religion classes so I can learn about it. And then I was like, I bet once I learn, I'm gonna know like which one is mine, you know? I was very ignorant. I had no idea about the politics and the drama and the whatever. I just wanted to, it seemed fun. It seemed exciting. I was so curious. I was a seeker. I wanted to believe, like, it seemed like everyone had these like incredible experiences that were like, they seemed fun. So I was like, cool, I want that, you know? So I go off to college, and I pick as one of my first electives, I picked Judaism 101 because I had had such a like intimate connection to it because of my stepdad that I was like, let's start there, you know? And that didn't go the way I thought, you know? The professor was a local rabbi, and I can't speak to if I offended him. I can't speak to like what happened. I just know the way I felt was that I was like not welcome to become Jewish. And I was like, whoa, okay, my bad. Like, I didn't know, you know? And so I was just sitting there kind of like confused because all of the experiences I had had up until this point were like people were so welcoming and sharing of knowledge, and like they wanted to like teach me and welcome me, and they were all so positive and kind. And so all of a sudden I have this like professor who I'm expecting a professor to like not be rude and like mean about it. But I could just tell like he had very little interest in like bringing anyone to the light. If we're honest, like now I know that's what I was looking for, right? And so that experience was just a really negative one. Like I could not wait for that class to be done. And I remember thinking like, damn, that's like a huge bummer that that's the way that someone is representing to the whole class. That like that's the energy representing Judaism. Because my stepdad and like the experiences I was having with the temple and his family and him and stuff, they seemed so much more upbeat. So I was like very confused, but I started understanding that like it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I had a very close friend who her and her family were all Hindu. And so going over to their family and like learning from them, I always thought that was really cool and unique. Um, and again, like so welcoming and so open to like and patient to teach me. And um, yeah, I just thought that was really exciting. I had another very dear friend of mine who I knew he was bisexual, but it was like becoming very clear to him that he was gay, and he was in a lot of fear. And I was ignorant. I wasn't understanding why. Because in my mind, I'm like, you're bisexual already. Like now you just know more about yourself, you know? Like now you've like kind of isolated down more or whatever. And so he started opening up to me and sharing with me that he can't be gay. Like he doesn't want to be gay because his family is Jehovah's Witness. And I was like, this is when I started like realizing that like there's something else going on with religion. It's not like the rainbows and butterflies thing that I'm just like prancing around learning and thinking I'm gonna like pick my religion, you know? I started realizing the duality of religion and the reality that there's something going on that I am unaware of. So then I decided to take another elective to kind of check out all the religions. So I did religions of the world. And I was like, rather than taking like individual classes, I'll take a while and it didn't turn out well the last time. Let me take this like religions of the world and learn about all of them deeper. And then like one will call to me, you know? And that is not really what happened. That class just started demonstrating to me all the conflict and the war and the trauma and the pain. And so I went into this class kind of excited, thinking I was going to like learn about each religion in like a deep manner, and I'm going to know which one. And yeah, that happened, but at the same time it also showed me that like there's a lot of pain and a lot of blood shed in regards to religion. And I remember when the class was wrapping up, I was like taking the test, and in order for me to pass the test, I remembered each religion's hero's journey, and I would like plug in the character in order to like plug the character in, remember the plot, and that's how my brain was operating, so I could like memorize the information so I could pass the test. So I was recognizing at a young age that there was a pattern at a high level with a lot of the religions where there was a figure who was demonstrating a hero's journey, and that demonstration was essentially like I could plug and play in order to pass this test, because it wasn't really helping me pick a religion at this point. So I just needed to pass the test, you know? And so I called my parent, one of them, and I'm talking to them about it, and I was just so disappointed because although I passed the test, I was telling my parent about kind of like how they all had a similar hero's journey, or a lot of them, at the highest level. And I also remember talking to my parent about how like none of them still were calling out to me like it was mine, you know? And that's what I was seeking. I wanted something. And it just kind of hit me that like I had to give up the search, I think, because I was recognizing that I didn't need it. Like it didn't feel like I needed it. It felt like there was a lot I didn't resonate with. Like I didn't understand why people were fighting the way that they were, and it seemed like a lot of pain, and other people like rejecting or judging or shaming people for being in different religions than their own. I was starting to understand that like some of the things that were being taught in that class, like I'm seeing the pain. Like the pain is still here, it's still on this planet. The trauma and the experiences are still, like the conflict is still here. And so it got to this place where I was like, I don't think I need this. What I thought it was, it looks like it's not. I liked it when it was like uplifting and welcoming and teaching everyone, and that wasn't what I was seeing anymore. So that dose of reality had me kind of like put religion off to the side. And I kind of like went on with my life, and I just kept experiencing more and more things that I'm going to talk about in my trauma video that had me leave religion off to the side. And that created religious trauma for me. Something I was excited to participate in, excited to learn about. I now had resistance to. And that was part of what caused that resistance. And so I'll talk about the rest of the resistance in the next video. Okay, see you there. Bye-bye.